Hey YouTube, Roku here, back with a Lyrilusc Tri-Brigade deck profile for you guys. This is a really cool deck that has a lot of different lines that can get to similar end boards. A lot of different combo pieces can get to similar other combo pieces, even from one engine to the other. Like your Tri-Brigades can get into your Lyriluscs can get into your Tri-Brigades. It's really cool synergies here, and I figured I'd show it off for you guys. So with that, let's get into it. So for the main deck, for the Lyriluscs, I am playing 3 Warbler, 3 Swallow, 3 Sparrow, 2 Wagtail, and 1 Canary. These ratios are pretty standard, other than I know some people play just 2 Swallow. I think it's good to have the third, because if you draw it, then it's nice extension. If you get hand trapped, just get 2 more extra bodies out of your hand is just so good. I know sometimes people play 1 Wagtail, but I don't see the appeal of that. I think you really want to see it, and even if you end up having an extra search off of like your Cobalt or your Recital, you can just search like a DD Crow or something like that, or a Nerval for follow-up. It's always nice to draw it and be able to search more interruption or more extension to play through stuff. So otherwise, this is pretty standard. Warbler, your super good starter. Sapphire, the great extender, and then Sparrow, Wagtail for on summon effects, and then Canary for your final inboard piece to get your Robin out at the very end. So then for Tri-Brigades, we are playing 3 Fractal, 3 Nerval, 2 Karas, and 1 Kit. Pretty standard for the Lyrilusc version. I know sometimes you'll play 1 Karas. I like the second one, again, just to have access to it. But yeah, 3 Fractal always, 3 Nerval because it's the bird version and it's searchable, and you can, if you have it, you can just normal summon it, and then you can use your Sapphire Swallow because you have a winged beast now, so you can special more out of your hand, and your Sapphire Swallow can summon this out of your hand, so it's just super synergistic with the bird stuff. Only 1 Kit. I don't love having to run Kit, but it is nice to get an extra name in the grave through your Tri-Brigade combo, and it does sometimes come up that you need that 1 extra name, so it is nice to have. It's kind of a soft garnet. You can just discard it off of your Karas you search, but you'd rather not have to. But yeah, that's the Tri-Brigade portion. Onto the spells, we have 3 Bird Call and 3 Tanky. Obviously, Lyrilusc Searcher, Tri-Brigade Searcher. Tanky is interesting because I do occasionally, if I feel like I need extra hand traps, I'll side out a couple Tankies, because you can so easily get into your Tri-Brigade engine without your Fractal. You can just search your Nerval off of your birds. But Tanky is super nice to have, to just have 3 more good starters for your Tri-Brigade engine. And then Bird Call is just so good. Gets to search or Foolish and summon from hand a different name. So it just gets to do so much. The Foolish does come up once in a while. Not super often, but once in a while. And Tanky is just, I don't know, I was going to say the 100 attack comes up, but it really doesn't much. But yeah, that's the last of the spells. And then technically kind of engine, pretty much non-engine, the Harpy's Feather Storms. These are just, you just blow out with these. Obviously, you go second, you side them out for more hand traps. Just super good. I got a couple duels this last locals that I just got to Featherstorm and just end the game the turn after. It was super nice. But yeah, this card, any Winged Beast deck should be playing this card. It's too good to not. And then I'll just throw the rest of the non-engine here. 3 Imperm, 3 Veiler, 3 Ash, and 1 DD Crow. I went with these just because you kind of don't want to play Nib because of your Turquoise Warbler. So if you nib them, then you can't use your Warbler to special summon, which is unfortunate. So I didn't want to play Nib. I do have Droll in the side for the also sided crossout because Droll just really hits the Lyrilusc stuff. And you really want to be able to not have to deal with that. I didn't feel like it was quite worth maining, but it might be in the upcoming format, depending on how the ban list shakes stuff up. But yeah, I figured 2 Monster Negates and the Ash is probably fine. I've got the 1 DD Crow, the other 2 are in the side. That's my Graveyard Hate for this deck because it's searchable. So I figured instead of Bell, I'll play the Crows because it's nice to be able to just search through them. And if you, depending on the hand, if you're playing against a Graveyard deck, you can maybe search 1 or even 2 DD Crows throughout your combo and just have searchable good interaction against certain matchups, which is super nice. But otherwise, that's it for the non-engine. Onto the extra deck. I'm playing for Xyz, 3 Recital Starling, an Ensemble, Assembled Nightingale, Utopic Future, Draco Future, and Zeus. This is fairly standard. You don't have to play the Nightingale, but it's nice to have as just a super free way to go into Zeus. I know some people play just the 2 Recital. I really like to have one for follow-up, but otherwise the rest of this is pretty standard, just your 1 Ensemble to end on as a huge interruption, tons of special summon bounces. Draco Future you make like every game because you get into double Recital, stack into Future into Draco. That's like part of your pretty standard end board. The fact that you can make like 8 interruption end boards and then follow up by swinging in and just making a Zeus if you can't kill is just super strong with this deck. But yeah, that's the Xyz, fairly tight. But then for links, I'm playing 2 Farragut, 1 Double Dragon Lord, 2 Shureg, an Appaloosa, and an access code. This, I really want to be able to get a Link 3 in here somewhere. I don't know what Link 3 I want to play. I want one that can be summoned off of a Tri-Brigade effect, but also just Link climbed into with Farragut, which the one I was playing, I don't remember the one, it's a DD Crow effect. It needs to be made with wind monsters, so I'm trying to find another Link 3 that I can climb up into, but 2 Farragut is good so that you can have 1 for your setup and 1 for follow-up to extend into an access. The Double Dragon Lords, if you've got extra Tri-Brigade monsters and you can summon an extra Link 2, you could just get the extra bounce with this, which is super nice, and it can just, instead of sending itself, you can just get rid of like a tanky you've got used up, so you can keep the body. 2 Shureg, because I like 1 for during combo, where you can Tri-Brigade into a 4, link it off, search any Tri-type, and then 1 for helping break boards, where you can just normal a Tri-Brigade, summon Shureg, banish something, link into Farragut, go off. So it's very nice to have 2 Shureg. Appaloosa is on your end board most of the time. Fingers crossed that this doesn't get banned and immediately remove this from this deck list, but it's just so good, so nice and generic. You most of the time you make a 3-mat Apo on your end board with your Draco Future and your Ensemble, which just stops most decks hard in their tracks. And then the access, just because you can so easily go into it going second with your Tri-Brigade stuff. It's super easy to climb into a Link 4, and this just can end it super easily. So I do like having the easy way to end games with that, and with the Shureg. You can even like Tri-Brigade into a Shureg and then link the Shureg off into access, and then you get the Link 4 1000 attack buff on access. So that's super nice to have access to. For the side deck, I had 3 Droll, 3 Mourner, 3 Ogre, 2 Crow, Feather Duster, and 3 Crossout. It did feel kind of weird only having the 1 Feather Duster for back row hate, but it's mostly fine because you've got spot removal with like your Shureg and your access code into back row boards. But then Droll, because it's super good this format, but also as a crossout target because this deck really hard loses to Droll, and so often game 2 I would side this in so that I could just play through Drolls. It did come up a couple times at locals. It's very nice to have. It sucks that the deck is so weak to Droll, but outside of Droll specifically, it's very hard to actually stop the rolling of this deck. Mourner for if I really need another monster interruption, if it feels like the 6 isn't quite enough, and just for the the damage for going into time. It does help sometimes to just be able to stop something, and if they want to use it for material, they are going to lose in time. And then the 2 extra Droll for obviously any graveyard decks, and they're super searchable. And then Ogre, I have really found Ogre to be really nice, especially against like IPs or like SP. You can Ghost Ogre. It's super nice to be able to just get rid of those problem monsters and get them totally out of rotation. And obviously for any field or continuous spells, just super good. But yeah, I think that's the deck. I should have a combo tutorial up next week. Yeah, the deck is super cool. I love the way that they interact and that you can just get from one engine to the other super easily. And if they just print a couple more cards for the Lyrilusc, I think they could potentially ignore the Droll better and just totally get up to high tiered play, because this deck just can put out so much and then go second and break boards. It's just so good either way. But I think that's about all I've got to say about this deck. I think, yeah, that should be it. This is Rogue Tier, signing out.